Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is Luca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. K-Talks 1340 AM and all United States to the FM network. Don't forget also, if you want to listen on the internet, you can go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Another Sunday, another show. It's like a marathon, seriously, because it's like a non-stop dream. And every week connects to the other one. And it's almost interesting because we're talking about several different topics. By the end, everything brings to the same direction. That we're all under danger. We're all in danger. And the final goal is for a global mass slavery. We're going to become all slaves on this planet. That's the bottom line. I've been studying that the last few years, and unfortunately I realized that we are getting to this point. Now, the purpose of this show, as I said, is not to entertain. I couldn't care less. You can do whatever you want for entertainment. It's my humble way to share the information that I really think it's vital if we want to regain our freedoms back. And normally I have on these shows, especially in the first hour, I have politicians, we have people running for office or people that are already in office, book authors, and some sort of, whatever you want to call them, personalities. And that's fine. That's great. But at the end of the day, for me, the most important person that I would like to have on my show, it is you. Normal people like myself who took the time, the effort, and the courage, because this is, sometimes to discover the truth, it's an act of courage. The truth can hurt. It is true. Can change your life. I want you on my show, because this, for me, you are the most important person. This battle, this struggle against this global tyranny cannot be won if just few of us or let's say the leaders will just, lead the charge. No, it must be a combined effort, but at the same time an individual effort from all of us. So every one of us, of you in this case, that takes the time to discover or to search the truth. Because why is so important? Because if we don't understand what's really going on, how can we fix it? If we are not educated, if we have no knowledge, we cannot understand what is really the problem. And we're going to be blinded in the darkness and trying to, reach for the enemy that we don't know. So this is so important. Knowledge is the first weapon. And then, of course, I always say, must be followed by action. So today I have the honor to have with me a great lady. I really think she's a great lady because she's very smart, in my opinion, at least for the topics that we're talking here. And I like to see, a woman more than everybody. I mean, I like men, I like everybody. This is a struggle, belongs to all of us. But normally, we like to generalize. We think women, they're just, home watching and cooking and watching TV. It's far from truth. I'm meeting many, many women right now in the last few years, so active in this struggle for freedom. And they got more balls than many men I know. And I very much this pleasure to have with me this incredible lady. By the way, she's also very good looking, but this is not the topic. This is going to be maybe for topic hour number 3. But I would like just to say, let's just introduce her. Because at this point, I think the most important thing we can do is to have her on the show. And she has some really important information that I think can become some sort of eye-opening to many of us. Because I just learned this stuff not that long ago. Her name is Renee, and I'll go from there. Renee, are you there?
Yes, Luca, how are you?
Very good. Nice to meet you again, and thank you for talking in person. Normally we instant message on Facebook, and I'm glad that I found you because you have a lot of great information to tell us. can you please first of all introduce a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? And in general, whatever you want to say. You don't need to say much unless you want to. Go ahead.
My name is Renee. I'm from Indiana, and I'm just a concerned American that wants to be proactive. I think everyone needs to research this and find out for themselves what everything we're saying. It's open, you know. But I think this is the best kept deception that America has. We're aware of the current situation with the terrorism and the refugees. Much like Obamacare, we won't have a say in what goes on in our country.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is we're not a country, but a corporation.
Wow. 1 second. Let me stop 1 second because many people say, what the heck are you talking about? You know, guess what? Every time we say something, at least I say something, I know you do too, we have proofs to back it up. So we are not just a corporation means that is a private entity, normally for profit, you know, corporation are for profit, that is far away from what's supposed to be we're supposed to be a republic, a constitutional republic. Now, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, okay? I'm asking you questions. How did you find out that, what type of proofs do you have that we are a corporation? I don't believe. Okay, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's start with the Act of 1871.
Okay, what is
But
that?
this goes back much further than that, but let's just start there. The Act of 1871, the 31st Congress committed treason on we the people, and we were never informed.
Wow.
It was passed on February 21st, 1871, 41st Congress, Session 3, Chapter 62, page 419. Those are some references for all of you to go out there and do this research yourself. Pretty much what happened is after 1871, we just come out of the Civil War. We were broke as a joke. I mean, our country was destitute. So Congress, without our knowledge, cut a deal with the international bankers, the London Rothschilds. So, then keep in mind, the London British people funded both sides of that Civil War, and you can go back and look at that for yourself, too.
So what happened exactly? We're talking about, first of all, for the listeners, the Act of 1871 is a piece of official legislation. It's an act of Congress. Everybody can go out there and Google it. It's still on the Library of Congress. This is not a conspiracy, correct? I mean, this is a real evidence that we have.
This is real evidence, and I urge everyone to go out there and listen to that, because we've been duped. You know, we're all thinking we're living the American dream, and we're not. And it goes very much deeper than that.
So how does it work exactly? I want to try to put it in simple words for people to understand.
Okay.
So Congress passed this act. This act, exactly what does it say? I mean, after America is a corporation, right? It is no more a republic.
Right.
So
what
is the headquarters?
That was we have an original Constitution, the organic Constitution that reads the Constitution for the United States of America, and now our Constitution reads the Constitution of the United States of America. That is a critical. One word can change the meaning of everything, and we don't even know that. It's deception. It's all been in the wording.
Yes, and also another important thing, you know, we're supposed to be these, plural, hopefully my accent got it right, United States of America, okay? Instead, I see that after this Act of 1871, we became the United States of America. Is that correct or am I wrong?
I didn't look all the way. My biggest thing was that one wording, because then the United States went to capital letters, which all corporations are in capital letters.
Yes.
Let's just make that known, too. And at this point in time, we went from common civil law to maritime admiralty law, which that's a huge difference.
Yes.
Because the law of the land and common law, civil law is one thing. It's following your culture, the laws of the people that are there in that culture.
Yeah.
Where in this more state, where example, what we can do in this country, some other countries can't do, civil. And then we go to the law of the sea, which is maritime admiralty law, or merchant, which is like mermaid, you know, the merchant. So, and now we're on the UCC,
Yes, and
kind of the law, which is
let-
the Uniform Commercial Code, and it's a worldwide code.
exactly. And we're supposed to be the law of the land, supposed to be our constitution. And now makes sense why all these acts of Congress, all these legislations, they are completely against the constitution because we are not anymore under the constitution. If we became a corporation, pretty much it's gone. I mean, we are not anymore under republic, but we are under corporation. And just to remind people, where is the headquarters of this corporation? Because there is a place that was created intentionally by Congress. You know where is the place?
Washington, D.C.
Perfect, perfect. So that's not even anymore a state. That's like some sort of a magic place that now it is where this corporation was created and founded, and from there you should not have any type of jurisdiction outside that few square miles. But
Exactly.
unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, now why this is so important? I know many listeners probably they're driving the car. And I'm not talking about my regular listeners. Probably they already know many of these topics. But let's say some new listeners say, "What the heck are you talking? It's Sunday. I'm driving around here and I'm listening to the show on the internet. I'm home. Why do we care about the Act of 1871? You know why? Because now when you start to realize that you're forced to pay for a product or for a service like the healthcare against your will, and if you don't pay for it, you know, after all, you're going to be fined. You may even go to jail one day. I mean, you realize that we under slavery. So this is exactly the point. They can do that because we are at this level, correct?
Yes, we are no longer sovereign citizens of America, but capital U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yep.
Because it's not for the we the people, for the people, by the people. Just replace people with corporation.
Yes, yes. And let's talk about this because it's something at the beginning I was a few years ago when I somehow woke up, about probably 15 years ago. Somebody started to tell me about the birth certificate, and we are a corporation, and the social security. And I thought that was just somebody who was crazy. Say, you know, what are you talking about? This is America. We are not, slaves. Come on, the birth certificate is the birth certificate. And then he started to talk about the collateral.
We're an asset.
Yeah, give us the story. This is all happened, by the way, not that far ago. We're talking about during the Big Depression with FDR, correct?
Yes.
Give me some more details. Please.
But it goes back all the way back to, and follow me here, people, with the wording, the birth. Okay, let's go to birth, because when a ship, this is where I come back to maritime admiralty law, where we're under maritime admiralty law. Mm-hmm. When a ship goes into dock, it births. Okay, it comes into the water canal and it births. Think about women, everybody. The ship's names are always female. Think about this, please. So you come into the ship and the ship births. When the captain gets off, the delivery guy gets off, he gets a certificate and gives you a weight. So it really goes back more than this. But what people need to understand is that our birth certificates are sold on the New York Stock Exchange. They are issued a CUSIP, and that's CUSIP number, and you can look your own number up. Go to www.activequote.fidelity.com /MMNET.
Wow. Well, say it again one more time, because this is so important. Please go ahead one more time.
Your birth certificates are sold on the New York Stock Exchange. They are issued a CUSIP number. It's normally a 9-digit number, but it's on your birth certificate. You can look that number up at www.activequote, all one word, .fidelity.com /MMNET.
Wow, this is amazing. This is amazing information. I'm so glad I have you on, because I point the guys, like the Matrix, you think you're free, because the best slavery is the one that you are not aware of your slavery. So you can perform and you can do more, you can produce more. Think about it. When you were a slave, you don't have a will. If you were really a slave, like, in the ancient Rome with a chain around your neck, you're not motivated to produce. After all, why should you? I mean, you do just the minimum so you don't get beat up or you don't get killed by the master.
And that goes back to the 14th Amendment equally so, because the 14th Amendment really talked about citizenship. At that point in time, it was already in the works. This whole thing has been, in my opinion, in the works from the time we set foot here in the colonies, which some say that we were colonized as a farm in order to feed the system. I hate to be that way, and that's horrible. It makes me really angry to think that.
If you think about it, this part is true, and we have also evidence from George Washington. He wrote letters that he was really worried about the infiltration of Illuminati in the groups of the Masonry. That Masonry, most of the founding fathers were Masons, but the Masonry was infiltrated by this new group coming from Europe of Illuminatis. And bottom line, all this behind Illuminati, they were these international bankers. They were trying to create, since the beginning, they were trying to push for this central private bank. There was, Thomas Jefferson, fighting for, what was the other one? Madison? I forgot. Anyway, they were trying to fight each other. There were two type of groups. One group that wanted the private central bank since the beginning. And let's not forget what it means to have a private central bank. This is exactly what we have today. We have a private corporation, like in this case, the Private Federal Reserve, that automatically, because act of magic, I guess, have the supreme power. There's this magic power to print, at least to issue. They don't print anymore; it's digital now. But even if they had to print more currency out of thin air for us, the slaves. And then just because they can do that, we have to pay back with our labor the interest. For every dollar they print or they issue, we must pay interest. And that's become some sort of serf system. It's a slavery. Why as a sovereign country, should we give that type of power and pay the interest to a corporate entity like private bankers? We could do that ourselves as a nation, and that's exactly what happened to us. We got enslaved, and now, as you were saying, a birth certificate become an asset because we are in debt.
Yes, and it goes all the way back to, think about the two people that are not presidents on our bill, Hamilton and Franklin. And Hamilton was one of the first ones that created a banking system, which technically the forefathers never wanted a banking system.
Yes.
There's a whole story about that. But anyway, let's go back to the birth certificates and the Federal Reserve Bank. It is, just because it says federal, it is privately owned. We do not own that bank. The United States does not own that bank. It is owned by these corporations, these people.
Yes.
And in 1984, Ronald Reagan did a study to see how the income tax was used. Mm-hmm. Guess what, folks? It all went out the country. And the IRS collects for the Federal Reserve.
Yes, exactly. And I say that about that few times myself, talking about the act of this independent investigation by President Reagan. Find out that all the interest, all the income tax that we pay to the IRS, all it does, it pays the debt, the interest, on the debt. All it does. So right there, and this is not just an American problem. Italy, Europe is all the same. The central bankers created this system a long time ago, and of course America is supposed to be. They fought very hard to try to submit it, and finally under President Wilson, this is all official records. People can find out. In 1913, finally, and I've been sarcastic, the Federal Reserve Act was passed, and this nation completely became in bondage. That's where we are, And I would like to say this. This is so important because if I had to say all the topics normally I bring here, from the loss of freedoms, loss of rights, and how this government is out of control, it's all connects to this. If we do not control the government like we're supposed to, we the people, but there is a bunch of, a small group of elite of bankers that through the power of issuing currency control the government. That's what they do. It's all an illusion. We are fighting like against ghosts. We must first understand who's really behind the curtains. I'm so glad you're bringing this up. Now, let's talk about a little more about this birth certificate, also in the sense of Social Security, and also in the sense of think about how the system is. You are a person, you go to work, and you have no options. Your money, even if you don't want to be part of this Ponzi scheme, because at least the Ponzi scheme, you accept it voluntarily, okay? When you submit yourself to the Social Security, you have no option. They take your money out of your pocket every week or every month without your will. And that point right there, I think that's called for me slavery. When somebody tells you how you can spend your money after you work, you're supposed to have freedom to choose if you want to be part of that system or not. What do you think about that?
Well, everyone now, I mean, it's went to now where you no longer get a check that you take to the bank and you can just sign your signature and get your cash. Now everything's got to be automatically deposited. Everything's in this automatic, I call it artificial intelligent world. But every bank signature card, and think about this, you can't live practically anywhere without having a bank, to do business out of. Your bank signature card, when you sign that to prove your signature, you are agreeing to follow the admiralty laws, the maritime admiralty laws, which forfeits your rights as a human, as an individual. Now you are a U.S. citizen, that property.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, your zip codes are another federally issued thing, and the zip codes are broke down into divisions, and I laugh about it and call them FEMA camp divisions, but you can't send a letter without a zip code. You have to give that zip code. You have to get your mail with a zip code. So there's several things that we get duped on that you don't have an option. You just got to do it in order to live, in order to go.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is exactly the point. It's like the Matrix. We are living in a Matrix. The problem that many of us, we don't even know. Because exactly that's the big strength of the Matrix. You are a slave, but you're not even aware. And I think it was Goethe, the German writer, I forgot how to paraphrase it, but there are mostly, if you're a slave, especially when you don't know that you are, I mean, there is nothing more, I need to find out when I read it correctly, but bottom line, we need to really go deep to this information because it's so vital. And I tell you, probably many people cannot face it. I know many people, they feel comfortable in their little funny world, and you think, why you even bother to talk about this? I want to pay my mortgage, I have, kids to raise, and I want to be left alone. But guess what? The problem is that you're not going to be left alone. You're going to lose anyway, anything. That's the bottom line.
Just think of it like this. Everything you're working for your kids, your family, it's not really yours. Just if you really think about this, they can come in and take eminent domain at any time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because we've had even militia acts go back to the Militia Acts of 1792. And let me see if I have it. Organizations of the state militia, and it provides for the president, but pretty much when Congress takes over. Not the president instructs the military; he is the commander-in-chief. But pretty much, and so why do we think we have so many congressmen and women that are just living in Congress? Because they're in control of the country. They are the ones we're going to have to get rid of because they're part of the problem.
Yeah.
And to me, we've never went out of it. But from the Militia Act, it turned into the War Powers Act. And if you notice, every time there's been a huge incident like Pearl Harbor, like when we declared war in Germany, Fernando, I think his name, got shot, assassin. He was assassinated. I mean, there's so many things that's happened. 9/11, we went to the USA Patriotic Act. I mean, it's just taken our civil liberties that we thought we had, but it's really taking more away.
Yeah, exactly. More away is the right word because technically we lost them a long time ago, but now they're making it legal. I mean, the point is now they think they have the excuse to conquer the minds and hearts of people to make it legal. Before they used to do anyway. I mean, after all, let's think about it. If they want to get your property, they'll get your property. As you said, eminent domain. Now they also passed, the Supreme Court said that if there is an excuse, like a reason that a private business can generate more revenues in taxes, they can take your property. This is not anymore for the public good. This is also just because some corporation can justify they can make more money on that road, on that piece of land, and they can take your house. And let's not forget, when people think, I'm free. Listen, I love this country, and I really wanted to bring it back. But first of all, if we want to bring it back, we must admit that we are not free anymore. We lost it. If you go around still saying, the land of the free or of the brave, I'm sorry. We lost it. And I'm not trying to be downer. I want to be realistic. If you want to get it back, first we must admit it. It is lost it. So, for example, I'll give you an example, guys. You drive, you think you're free, you think you own property. After all, you own a house. You are a homeowner. No, you are not. You're just a rental. Okay? The bottom line is the moment that you don't pay your property taxes every year, you're gone. You're going to live under the bridge. Okay? That's the bottom line. And you know what? The same story with this principle now, with this type of concept, they can use this property tax on a house, then they use it on a car. Of course, it's called registration every year because, they put it under the registration. But that's another way. They pretty much tell you that that's not really your car. But at this point, why not doing also on your laundry machine or maybe on your couch? Hey, they should do on your shoes. After all, you should pay a registration fee on your shoes because you walk over the land, or at least over the roads, the government building. Think about it, how much of open gate now we have to hell. And let's continue down this road. They can tell you, I always bring this up on my show, Renee, the seat belt, okay? Yep. The seat belt for me, people say, what the heck? What is your problem? You need to put your seat belt. It's for your safety. Okay, guess what? It is my body. You're not my father. You're not my mother. Don't tell me it is for my safety. I understand if this would be a danger to others. But the point that the government, when the government has that power to tell you that they own your body, because there is no justification to others people's rights, to protect other people's rights. This is just about to show who is boss. You are not the boss of your body. The government is. We are slaves. Yeah. That's the bottom line. And the federal government was able to do that. And then, of course, from there to the Obamacare. Why you complain about Obamacare? You didn't complain about the seatbelt. You didn't complain about your helmet. You didn't complain about property taxes. And the list goes on, So that's where we are. And makes sense now, reconnecting all this with Renee about this act, Congress Act of 1871. And I challenge everybody out there to go check it out. And I challenge Go ahead, Renee, please. Sorry.
Me too. What you said is implied consent. That's exactly how they have gotten us, because we thought we were under our organic constitution and they couldn't take our rights and freedoms away. Well, if I come up and take your bottle of wine and walk away with it and you don't say, no, that's mine, it's implied consent that next time I can come up and take it. It's just that simple.
Exactly.
And register, just think of it as REGI. Look it up. It's king. So every time you register something, you're registering it to the king.
Exactly. Exactly. And let's not forget the word license. There is a license for everything now. I mean, even if you want to have, let's say, a little addition to your house or build a chicken coop, a permit. I mean, a license to hunt, a license to fish, a license to work. I mean, if I want to operate a business, I must have a license. What is the difference from now on the time of the kings? You need to have a license. You need to have the permit from the king to go on king's land if you wanted to farm or if you wanted to hunt. Same story now. Now it's a little more sophisticated because we believe, or at least some of us still believe, that we are free human beings or free Americans. I'm sorry, this is not anymore the case. And you realize that you're not free only when you will try to exercise your rights. Till you are calm and peaceful and a good slave, you think everything is fine. But when you start to exercise your rights, you will see that you're not going to fly that far away. And by the way, I would like to remind everybody out there, this is not a show about trying to bring negativity or say, oh my God, this is all so dark. No, this is about reality. Because I said many times, we can avoid, you can avoid to listen to reality. That's your right. If you want to be like a little, I don't know, the animal that put the head on the ground, fine. But the point is, you will not be able to avoid consequences of reality. Okay? At this point, we still have a chance together and as individuals to start to speak up and start to learn and start to share this information. And finally, with enough good people, maybe we have a chance to get it back in Congress peacefully. That's my goal. But I want to say something. Right now, we are not living anymore in a free country, also for another reason. That probably you may not believe about all the other things I'm talking about with Renee. There is one thing that should really now shake your back and give you a chill all the way down your spine. Okay? It's called the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, indefinite detention. You know, Renee, very well what it's about, right?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much they can detain you for no reason, no nothing, and you don't have any say. You get detained. They can take you away, and you don't get the phone call from jail.
Yeah, this is not even anymore the jail. This is about in the dungeon. You disappear, and they can use the military completely in violation of posse comitatus, and we go back here before the pre-Magna Carta. I mean, the Magna Carta, I hope I pronounce it right, was a very important piece of legislation, or at least a document, a foundation of freedom that brought us away from the Middle Ages, when the king, just because he likes it, he can kill you. Maybe because he wants to get your wife, or maybe he wants to get your home. You disappear. With the Magna Carta, the king, he needed to have a body of the crime. He needed to have a legal reason, a due process before he can put you in jail. Now, in the America that we think is free, we think that we under the Constitution, our Bill of Rights is completely being gutted. I mean, think about it. Under the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, with this special part, there was the indefinite detention that the administration, Obama, intentionally wanted to add it. And this is according also to a video that you can see of Senator Levin, that, he was saying, by the way, don't be mad at me. The administration wanted this part. Okay, worse than Bush on this part, because Bush was doing the Patriot Act. This is the Patriot Act on steroids. Any one of us, Americans or not Americans, we can be declared terrorist and detained indefinitely just because suspected. Not, there is no process, no trial, nothing, no jury, no judges, nothing. We can be, now me and you, Renee, we can just be say, by the way, the government, even by accident, let's say by accident, our last name sounds funny and they put us on the wrong database. We can be detained indefinitely and completely gone. No more. No, this is amazing. I still, after all these years.
I think most of the people who are speaking out are already on a database. I mean, I hate to be that way, folks, but wake up, really. This is serious. This is very serious, because the Sedition Act will fall right at where, the Sedition Act, where you couldn't speak out against the government during war times,
Exactly.
I mean, we've never stopped,
Another important is part about never stop, FDR, people don't know, there are some executive orders that they are still in effect since the Depression. FDR executive order, we've been under emergency laws, and these emergency acts never been repealed, I mean, do you know anything about that?
Well, what I do know is that FDR created during that time of World War II, I think it was. I mean, even the Japanese was over here.
Yes.
And in a nutshell, what happened was he created I call it the FBI CIAP branch, and I've got specific notes here somewhere on that. But anyway, a branch was created to start watching people specifically. And since that's happened, it's never stopped, because then he started recording, people and keeping records, and blackmail started going rampant then. And you can thank J. Edgar Hoover for that one, which he's been in power play for a long time, and J. Edgar Hoover was a SOB.
Listen, people must understand that during the Depression, before even the Second World War, I mean, we had already situations of martial law. When the government can confiscate your property, okay, with force, and you can face 10 years in jail just because you own gold that you work for, okay? And they can tell you, now it's our gold, and not even our gold. You need to deposit to any type of branches in America of the Federal Reserve, that we know that they are all private. There was a complete, act of tyranny. And think about it.
That was treason.
Yeah.
That was treason.
Yes. National Emergency Act, okay? This is so important. People need to check it out. Need to check it out. There is so much going on. But my point today, I want just to scratch the surface. And, I give you some keywords. I would like to everybody start to go for it. We don't have enough time to go through every one of these specifically. The Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917, okay? Mm-hmm. Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917. Go check it out, okay? Then you have with Franklin Roosevelt, okay? FDR. we have other pieces of legislation very important. Been talking about the opportunity, the pretty much the act of tyranny of the government to force you to get your gold without your consent and donate. It's funny almost. Give it this gold to these private corporations called Federal Reserve. Okay, National Emergency Act. Okay, that's another one. And then you have to think about the power of a man to decide just because you look like Japanese, or maybe just because you sound Italian, and you have Italian background, or maybe German, but you're an American. Okay, the Japanese that went to the camps, they weren't Japanese, they were Americans. Okay, just because maybe they had their grandfather was Japanese. So guess what? This man, with an act of as Obama, with some pen, ink, and paper, he decided that he destroyed the lives of millions of people, at least hundreds of thousands of people, completely putting them in camps for years, with their business ruined, lost their homes, and everything else. So that's martial law right there, okay? And it's still on, never been repealed. These war powers that the FDR enabled himself with the executive orders, never been repealed. We're still under this. So that's the point. That's the point. Are you there, Renee?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Listen, I want to say something. As I said, we wanted just to scratch the surface here, and I wanted just to give keywords. But the most important thing I want to say, I want to say thank you for learning all this stuff. And I would like to ask you a couple of questions. When did you start to wake up? I mean, this is a lot of information. It's like a journey. I know, because I'm still myself every day learning new things. When did you wake up, Renee, from Indiana?
When I was studying in college, I was going to major in political science, and I realized that I was going to a college that, and I won't say the name or nothing like that, but I was going to a college that wanted to instill liberalism and the socialist concept into my brain. At least most of them did anyway. And I realized then, wow, man, we're living in a corrupt world. And had just craziness. And someone said, look up burger builders. And I said, well, what are you talking about, burger builders? And as from there, at one time, you can look up them. There's the Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, the list goes on. Illuminati, Cabal, it's all called the Zionist movement. Please check the videos out on Zionism. And it's not just a Jewish thing. That's not what I'm trying to get at either, because I love all people. Treat me good, I'll treat you better. It doesn't matter. They want us divided. They want us in the streets rioting because then they control us. Fear controls us. And that's all this is fear. It's good versus evil, people. That's where we're at.
And since you brought it up, this is so important, because already can see the people laughing, the typical idiots out there. Oh, the Bilderbergers. Oh, the what is the name? The Skull and Bones. Oh, this is all real stuff, documented. And let's talk about the most important things out there. I mean, they're all important. Okay, Skull and Bones is a secret society that we know Bush father and Bush son and Cheney and Kerry, they were all part of it, and so secret. You must see the rituals. I mean, I wouldn't give my dog on the leash to a man that goes through the type of perverted secret rituals and things like that. But talking about the Bohemian Groves, there is a video out there by Alex Jones. Everybody should watch. This Bohemian Groves is proven. They are all our most important politicians and people in the government and also in the private business, they've been attending it for the last 100 years. And presidents go there. And let me tell you something. You gotta, first of all, watch that. Go to check it out, Bohemian Groves video by Alex Jones. And you will see exactly what's going on in this private place. This is like a sort of satanic ritual. And when the cremation of care, the simulation of burning a little baby, innocent baby, and you gotta just watch, and then you tell me if any of these politicians deserve your vote or deserve your trust. We have a problem here. This is a really evil system that it's hidden from our own eyes, but it's out there in plain view if you want to see it. That's the bottom line. We must expose it. That's the bottom line. I want to say, Renee, enough, I don't want to say enough because there is so much to say about this. But before, I want to change 1 second topic now. You sound like such a very dedicated lady to the truth, to try to learn all this stuff. Is it easy for you to find a person, in this case, I don't know, a boyfriend or I don't know if you're married, I don't know, but a friend that, like from the other sex, that you can spend time. First of all, are you married, if I can ask you? I mean, not because I want to get private.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm divorced.
Okay.
Me and my ex-husband are really good friends, thank God.
Good, excellent. But now the point is, he was able to understand all the things you were saying when you were together?
I think it upsets the average man if they're manly, I should say. I think it upsets them. I know I can't talk about this with my parents because it just really upsets them because people don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
When they know the truth, and when the first time I found out that we were sold on the stock, I mean, I cried. I'll be the first to say I sit down and cried because I was like, no way, but I'm done crying, man. Everybody needs to wake up and really take action in this. But I don't find people that are willing to discuss this. I have a few friends, but most of the time they're into whatever's on TV I don't even know because I don't watch reality TV.
Yeah. No, I understand. And this is exactly the problem. Sometimes we feel isolated. We feel it's difficult after you learn all this truth to go back in the matrix and fake it. I say, okay, and even put up with idiots out there. I can't anymore. I mean, seriously, I'm not going to try to say that I'm smarter, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to share even a glass of water with somebody that doesn't want to at least learn. I'm not saying that
I agree.
At least you want to have an open mind, and then we can debate, and then we can say, okay, these are the facts, the proofs. I don't want to be right, but at least let's have a serious conversation about this and stop snickering and laughing like we're a bunch of crazy. Now, another important thing.
You got to get thick skin to talk about this.
Yes. And I want to say, I want to invite everybody out there on the show that, yes, information, if you take the time to learn about a topic, could be the vaccine, could be the GMO, could be the Federal Reserve, could be the Patriot Act, could be about the invasion of the illegal aliens, anything that has to do defending our freedoms, defending our sovereignty, defending our Bill of Rights and Constitution. You are my brother and my sister. And I don't care which party, I don't care which sex, I don't care your accent because mine is bad enough. I want you on, okay? I just want to give you the type of opportunity to show other people out there that now is time. The average person do incredible things. And the most incredible thing we can do is an act of love to learn, be sure that we are not afraid to face the truth and share it. That's the only way we can stop evil. Evil flourish in the darkness. We must expose it with knowledge. That's, I really believe, is so important. Now, on the little personal things, what do you like to do for, in Indiana when you don't work and when you don't, get some? Because I know myself, sometimes I need to take a break, and it's so much, overwhelming, all this information. I need to take a break for him. What is your hobby? What you like to do? I don't know. What do you do in private life?
Thanks to Obamacare, I'm not on Obamacare. I want to mention that, by the way. I refuse to be part of the system, and for the years of my life that I've been an adult, I always took pride in taking care of myself and having insurance. But now that it's forced upon me, I'm just a little about it. So I don't do that, and I don't wear my seatbelt all the time either, folks. I just want you to know because I feel like a rebellion, But yeah, I like to walk. I like to take pictures. I enjoy my family. Two beautiful godchildren and my nieces and nephews, and so I enjoy that and my family and being outside mostly. I like nature.
Perfect.
It's cold now here, so I don't want to be outside right now.
Renee, if somebody was to contact you, can I say that also you are on freedomlovers.us?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is exactly, you're for me the perfect candidate for that website that I created. And freedomlovers.us is a free network site, not just dating. I'm not looking just for a date or of course, I hope you can find the love of your life or at least a good friend. But the idea is to network with like-minded people who are not afraid of facing the truth and want to be free human beings. So please, I'm so glad you joined it, and it's free. And go to freedomlovers.us, create an account. Put your photos. By the way, there are blog section. Renee, I'm sure you watched that. There is a section you can create a blog. You can upload your videos. You can share photos. And there is also a classified section. I wanted to put in a way that everybody can share information or even products, okay? So please, I'm glad you're there, and I hope you can find some good friends there that they can, that will be very great. Renee, I want to give you the microphone before I change. I need to go to another topic. 60 seconds, whatever you want to say.
Well, I just want to thank you for your radio show, Luca. I really appreciate the opportunity. And to all my Americans out there, I say Americans because I don't want to be a U.S. citizen. That's a corporation. To all my Americans out there, please do your research. I pray for our country. I pray for everyone. We're all in this together. We are one as a planet. It's not us versus, it is us versus them, not race, not gender, not sex. It is us people, the original human being, against something that research, do your research. It will really blow your mind. And again, thank you, Luca, for the opportunity to share my thoughts, my concerns. And just let me say, I'm wishing everyone the best, and I pray for our world.
Yes, and I thank you, and I thank everybody out there for sharing this show and to share this information. Now, before we go to the second hour, we have a little bit more of news and a little song that I would like to dedicate to Renee and to all the ladies out there who are not afraid to face the truth, and they're fighting for our rights in this country and around the world. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Do not go away.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll trade my life for freedom with no regret. It is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and provide for it. Give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll trade my life for freedom with no regret. Give me liberty or give me death.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the first hour. This show is being produced during the week. So if you're listening right now on the radio on K-Talks 1340 AM, I'm sure you're already aware of what happened in San Bernardino, California with this terroristic attack, okay? Now, you already heard a lot, okay? And sometimes it's almost so just tiring, just stressful to try to fight the illogical mindset of these delusional individuals, starting from the scumbag called Obama, that is an insult to all the intelligence, to every type of reasoning. But we know very well these people, they're not just dumb or stupid when they try to push their agenda. It is not because they are completely stupid. Yes, they're also stupid and moronic. That's a fact. I'll show you later how can somebody like Senator Boxer can be so stupid all the way. But the point is they have an agenda, okay? They have an agenda, and I'm not going to spend too much time. I don't want to give them too much credit even to debate. There is no debate, as I said. I don't care. This is the point. This is the right. These people are tyrants. These people, they understand that if they want to completely dominate us, destroy this country in every way they can, they need to disarm the American people. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to go there now if this was a false flag or not. There are a lot of things, of course, they don't really adds up, I must tell you. A lot of things I'll talk to you in the second hour. But the point is, regardless, you're not going to get our guns. That's the bottom line. You're not going to start to do fancy executive orders, Mr. Obama, just because you think you're Hitler, in brown. Okay? That's not going to fly. I'm telling you. So anyway, the point is, I'm going to talk a little bit about it during the second hour. What happened at San Bernardino in this sort of very mysterious terrorist act. There are a lot of questions that I don't have the answers. But regardless, I'm going to focus on how our rights are under attack. That's a fact. That's the truth. And also how we are in danger. I don't care if it's a false flag or not. People are dead. Okay, I have with me a guest that lives 3 blocks from there. I had him just a couple of weeks ago. My friend Ronald from San Bernardino is running for a state senator for the Democratic ticket for California. Guess what? He's one of the few Democrats in the world that I support and I defend and I respect. This guy understands, has logic, has brain. Understand that when there are bad people out there, you do not disarm good people, okay? You do not pass more gun control laws, because that's all you do. You just give them, the bad people, more opportunity to do evil acts. Think about it. California has the toughest gun control in the states, okay? The toughest. It's a gun control free zone. I mean, think about it. Where all that happened was in this county building. It's not even can have, you cannot even have a slingshot. So the point is, evil people don't care about these gun control laws. All they do is just to disarm and put in danger us, with the people. And on top, let's not forget the Second Amendment. It's a right, Mr. Obama and all the scumbags politicians. You think you can use this crisis. You are so disgusting. Seriously, you are disgusting. Make me puke. You don't even stop in front of dead bodies just to pass your agenda. This is like a pack of coyotes feasting on dead bodies. Seriously. Anyway, so don't go away. We're gonna talk second hour a little bit about what happened in San Bernardino, also from a point of view of gun rights. How we need to stop this nonsense, how this is almost ridiculous, and it's almost sad and funny the same way. If it wasn't so serious, it would be funny. I mean, one thing we've proven with this San Bernardino shooting, number one, gun control doesn't work, period. That's a fact. Number two, guess what? Media are pack of liars. Not only the politicians, but this media, I mean, immediately, MSNBC or CNN, they were already, not even having the data, the information, they were blaming it all on the white man, right-wing militia. I mean, this is so insane. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Seriously. And so the politicians. So that's the bottom line. And these actors, I don't even want to waste the time because I don't even follow their names. But it's been all over. You could see on their little Twitter accounts, not even knowing the facts, immediately blaming on the NRA, or blaming on guns, or blaming on the white people. Every white man should not have, guns because they say so. This is like a mental disease. I start really to believe this is a mental disorder. And then when you listen to these politicians like, Obama going with this, Obama, we know. He's just following his plan. That's the point. But there are some other politicians that they really believe this stuff. Seriously. Anyway, guys, listen. So let's try to keep it cool. And also, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to waste all the time on these pigs, okay, starting from Obama, okay? These communist pieces of crap, they're not going to get all our time. Well, we'll talk a little bit with Ronald O'Donnell, and also we'll talk about training. That's the most important thing. And what to do to be proactive, to defend ourselves and our family. Training ideas, second hour. And then we have more very important news in the final hour, super special guest, Amon Bandi. We'll talk about a very important act of love. So don't go away, please. And don't forget, if you want to support the show, you know what to do. All you have to do is go to my website, zanna.us. With just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs. And I appreciate your help. So here we go, my friends. Keep it cool, because I tell you, sometimes I lose my mind here. It's kind of out of control. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also on lovegunsfreedom.com. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network.